American-born Team China skier Eileen suffers brutal fall during Olympics. Olympic skiing star Eileen suffered a gnarly fall during the women's halfpipe qualifier on Thursday. Gu's fall came on her first run, when she clipped the lip of the halfpipe on the third trick, knocking her left ski off and sending her skittering to the bottom of the course. That set up a pressure-packed second attempt that she had to complete cleanly to stay in contention. Gu didn't go conservative and laid down a run full of risky tricks, including one that took her soaring 14 feet over the edge of the halfpipe. She came close to clipping her ski on one landing, but managed to stay upright. Her run earned 86.50 points, good enough to place fifth among the 12 skiers who advanced to the final. "I was relieved," Gu said. "I just kind of had this moment of like, thank you. You know, I shouldn't be in this position to begin with, but I'm glad that I was able to reinforce my sense of self-belief at the moment when it counted." So far, Gu has won 2 silver medals in freestyle skiing in Milan Cortina in the slopestyle and big air events. The halfpipe final on Saturday is her last chance to win gold. An interaction Tuesday with a reporter went viral after Gu responded to a question about her winning 2 silver medals instead of gold so far this Olympics, suggesting the question came from a ridiculous perspective. "I'm the most decorated female freeskier in history. I think that's an answer in and of itself," Gu said when asked if she saw her 2 medals as silvers earned or golds lost. "How do I say this? Winning a medal at the Olympics is a life-changing experience for every athlete. Doing it 5 times is exponentially harder because every medal is equally hard for me. But everybody else's expectations rise, right? The 2 medals lost situation, to be quite frank with you, I think is kind of a ridiculous perspective to take. I'm showcasing my best skiing. I'm doing things that quite literally have never been done before. So, I think that is more than good enough, but thank you." Gu has been the subject of global criticism since her decision to represent China dating back to the original decision in 2019 and her first Winter Olympics in Beijing in 2022. This year, that criticism has ramped up. Vice President J.D. Vance weighed in on the controversy surrounding Gu in an interview Tuesday on Fox News, The Story with Martha McCallum. "I certainly think that someone who grew up in the United States of America who benefited from our education system, from the freedoms and liberties that makes this country a great place, I would hope they want to compete with the United States of America," Vance said. "So, I'm going to root for American athletes. I think part of that is people who identify themselves as Americans. That's who I'm rooting for in this Olympics." The fall, a moment that became more than a fall. It was just a heartbeat on snow, barely a few seconds. But when Eileen ski poles thrust forward, skis wobbling on the steep edge of the halfpipe, lost her balance and pitched forward in a brutal fall, she also turned a snapshot in time into a story about risk, identity, expectation, and grit. At the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milan Cortina, during the free-ski women's halfpipe, Gu's stumble was at once a physical misstep and an emotional event. Fans winced, commentators paused mid-sentence, and millions watching around the world felt that hush that only comes when something spectacular doesn't go as planned. And yet, that fall, dramatic, raw, unfiltered, became a test far bigger than the competition itself. The stage, the Olympic halfpipe and the weight of history. In winter sports, the halfpipe is a place where gravity and artistry battle. Athletes launch themselves from one side of the U-shaped snow trench to the other, twisting, spinning, flipping, defying spectators' perceptions of what the human body can do in the air. Each takeoff is a negotiation between physics and fate. A fall here isn't merely a slip on ice, it's a negotiation between ambition and vulnerability. For Gu, this run was loaded with meaning. She had already won 2 silver medals in the 2026 Games, in slopestyle and big air, and was aiming for gold in the halfpipe. But beyond medals, she carried the immense burden of expectation, from fans who see her as a role model, from critics who question her choice to compete for China rather than her birth nation, the US, and perhaps most of all, from herself. The fall came not in the final, but in the qualifying round. In that moment, time seemed to stretch. Her form paused, skis skittered, and then she hit the snow with a jarring resound, a brutal reminder of how unforgiving elite sport can be. The response: pain, presence, and poise. Rather than retreat, Jiu did something remarkable. Shaken by the tumble, she stood back up, brushed off the snow, and walked, not limped, away. Hers was not the blank stare of defeat, but the quiet calm of resolve. She took a breath, gathered herself, and prepared for her next run. There was pain, of course, but there was also presence, a willingness to face the risk again. In sports, as in life, it is the recovery from a fall that often reveals an athlete's character more starkly than a perfect performance. Gu's next run was strong enough to secure her a place in the final. This was not a triumph of perfection, but a triumph of perseverance, a defiance of the notion that one mistake defines the whole story. Beyond the snow, identity, pressure, and polarization. Eileen Gu's fall took on layers of significance because she is more than just an athlete. She is an identity in motion. Born and raised in San Francisco, trained in California, but competing for China to honor her maternal heritage and to inspire girls in Asia. That choice has made her a symbol to some, a lightning rod to others. Following that fall, social media buzzed. Some used it as justification to criticize her, not her performance, necessarily, but her choices, her nationality, her very identity. Yet others rallied around her, pointing out that the fall was just one of countless moments that show how even world-class athletes wrestle with risk and consequence. But Gu's journey, much larger than a single event, forces us to recognize that sport is a stage for humanity's hopes and anxieties. Her fall resonated because we see in it not just the failure of a run, but the vulnerability of a young woman under global scrutiny. The final, reclaiming the narrative. What makes this story particularly powerful is what happened after. Jiu did not dwell on that fall. She used it as fuel. When the women's halfpipe final came around, after weather delays and a packed schedule, Jiu delivered a performance that didn't erase her stumble but transcended it. With a run that scored high and proved her technical precision, she defended her Olympic title and claimed gold, becoming the most decorated freestyle skier in Olympic history. That victory wasn't just about a medal. It was a statement. Resilience matters more than perfection. Recovery is as important as risk. Yet even as she stood on that podium, celebrating her achievement, Jiu faced another moment of profound emotion. She learned that her beloved grandmother had passed away. The news came after the event, turning her victory into a deeply personal,